Hey, listen, it's been on my spirit a little bit just to have a conversation with you all. You all already know when I speak, sometimes I could be animated. Please take it out of a sense of urgency and out of love and out of a sense of anger. But there are some things that we just need to tighten up on. I have written some words. I will probably vacillate between what I have written and what I actually want to say. But one thing that I do need is your undivided attention. I do not need you to split your attention with what I'm saying with anything, because I need you to hear me and I need you to receive what I'm saying. Class of 2025, the purpose of this meeting is to address a few things that we need to tighten up on. Please provide me with your undivided attention, as if these things are in fact addressed, Kennedy, we can ensure success. Success that will eventually present itself not only in you graduating on time, which is a minimalistic expectation for you to graduate on time. I know that you are going to graduate, and I know that you are going to get in college if you so desire. Our purpose at Hayville is to ensure not that you get into college, but you have the acumen to get out of college. Easy to get in, more difficult to get out. Please know that our work collectively is to prepare you for what is to come. So let's get into a couple things. Tardies. It is imperative that you arrive to class on time. Your timeliness speaks to not only who you are as a purpose, but on a deeper level, it prepares you to manage your time. Please know that the preparation is not for today, but the preparation is for tomorrow. It is a simple expectation to ask you to get to class by the time the bell rings. It is a larger expectation for you to develop the skill set and a deeper meaning of what it says about you when you show up somewhere on time. It speaks to your preparation. It speaks to your attentiveness. It speaks to your readiness. It speaks to your ability to provide. It speaks to who you are when you are an adult and you have a job. And if you don't prepare for that now, you will be inept in that endeavor in the future, as some of you are inept in that endeavor now. Some of you move through the hallways with the personification of ineptness. You move through the hallways with no purpose as to where you are going. Listen, y'all, your purpose should not be enacted by the class that you are going to. Your purpose should be on a deeper level because you want to show up the best person. That is your urgency. Your urgency is not to Miss Evans or Miss Hawkins. Your urgency chases to who you are. I'm speaking to you and not your response to a class. That's what I mean by being on time. So if you think I'm simply asking you to beat the bell, it has a much deeper meaning than that. If your life is designed around beating the bell, then you will succumb to a bell for the rest of your life. Don't be that person that just beats the bell. So I'm not speaking about being on time just for on time's sake. I'm speaking, KJ, about moving through the building that communicates that you want to be the best person that you could possibly all the time. But for some reason, there's an energy that is growing from the ground up that speaks to a level of laziness. And I don't care what your grades are. I haven't even gotten to grades. If you don't have all hundreds, I'm talking to you. Do not compare yourself to somebody who you looking like I'm on the honor roll and you're not. So what? If you don't have all hundreds, be on time with your mental capacity. Be on time with your readiness in terms of doing your homework. Be on time with an expectation to engage in the academic process. Be on time so that you can push us to be better. The expectation, to be clear, Kingston, is that you are on time to every single class ready to learn. And I'm not going to relinquish on that. Stop moving through the hallway with the expectation that time is your friend. Move with the expectation that time wasted is your enemy. I'm not talking about just now. I'm talking about for the rest of your life. It means something when you become an adult and you are always on time. But if you don't practice that now, if you're not good at that now, if you're not on time today, you cannot expect a change in your dynamic to be on time later on in life. There are going to be people who are going to be watching you in silence, particularly because of the hue of your skin to gauge your timeliness, Taylor. And if you are late, all you do is further the stereotype. And our job, our collective job, is to prepare you to break stereotypes. Your grades. Please know that your grades are not just an indication of how much work you have turned in, but moreover, how much content you have retained. Your grades are not an indication that you do homework. Your grades are an indication of how smart you are. Your grades are not an indication that you did a worksheet during lunch. Your grades are an indication of how much content you know and can re-articulate to somebody else. So I want you to ask yourself the rhetorical question: if you have an A, does that mean that you know 90% of the content? Or does that simply mean, Scholar, that you did 90% of the work asked of you? Your grades are a measure of how well you do school. Your salary when you grow up in life is going to be a measure of how good you are at what you do. So when you see people make a high salary, it is an indication to you that whatever they do, they are good at it. Your grades are a measure of that for you right now. Do your grades indicate how well you do school? And if they are below your expectation, then I need you, as the Falcons say, to rise up, so that your grades are an indication of how well you do school. You are at the middle point of having an amazing GPA. But if you don't focus, your GPA can be less than stellar. Know that your GPA is cumulative, which means if you are in the hole, you got to work extra hard to get out. Your GPA is not just semester by semester, but it is an amalgamation of all of your high school career. You are at the precipice of starting to apply to colleges. You are at the precipice of starting to begin your career. When somebody reads who you are, baby Fowler, on paper, is it a true indicator of who you are, Addie? Or do we disconnect from words that hit us hard by going into our cell phone so that you can have an excuse? Addie, pay full attention to me. The expectation is that your GPA is a true measure of how you do school. Own your own learning. Too often, in explaining our grades, we start to blame somebody else. Mostly your educator. Not very often is there a reflection of your response to the educational environment. What do I mean by that? If you're failing, do you look inward and say, I'm not giving all that I possibly can? If you are failing, do you look inward and say, I don't spend as much time in this area of my academics in order to deserve a passing grade? That's what I mean by being reflective. Or do we say, the teacher don't put in grades? Or do we say, I didn't even know I was failing? Or do we traverse through the hallway, avoiding the pressure of academic failure by moving like sloths? That's what I mean by being on time. Face your academic deficiencies if you have some by being on time, by being first. Don't meander through the hallway to be late to give yourself an excuse. I missed a quick write because I was late. That's why I have a failing grade. Don't make excuses. Your attentiveness to your own grade book, measuring your own progress. And when your progress falls below expectation, please reach out to the teacher to seek assistance. All of this is your responsibility as the student. Please don't passively accept disconnection of the content, but feverishly seek success. The expectation, y'all, is that you own your own progress. This one comes from me on behalf of your educators. Your teachers are people too. I'm going to say that again. Your teachers are people too. Your teachers prepare for you each day. They work hard to see you successful. They work hard in preparing lessons that connect you with the content. They work hard to prepare you not only for school, but also life outside of school. They not only teach you the content, but they teach you to be good people. Some of you, not all of you, but some of you, in return, turn your backs on them. Figuratively, I say turn your back. Literally, I mean when you pull out your cell phone. Literally, I mean when you turn to a partner and start talking when you know the teacher is talking. Literally, I mean when you just don't do the homework. Literally, I mean when you show up late to class. Literally, I mean when you are disrespectful to an elder. Later, for them being a teacher, they are your elders. Despite what you may think of them and their ability to teach, when it's all said and done, they are your elders, y'all. And don't for a second they get paid what they deserve. That means they deserve your utmost respect all the time. Respect in the sense of you show up on time. Respect in the sense of you give them your full undivided attention. Respect in the sense of you don't meander after lunch. Respect in the sense of when you come back from lunch and you have an inability to control how you act because you came back from lunch. Come on, man. Respect them. Give them the attention that they deserve. You have the social capacity to disconnect from your phone. You can do it. You have the social capacity not to log onto the computer and go where you want to go as opposed to where they ask you to go. It's a low-level expectation to talk to you about respecting adults, but it needs to be said. Because when you are where they are in life, you're going to expect somebody to respect you. When you become the boss, you're going to expect somebody to respect you. But before Martin Luther King was a leader, he was a servant first. He learned how to follow before he could lead. You have to learn how to give respect before you can expect respect. You practice that with your elders all the time. I don't want to hear another teacher talk about how you all act in class. I'm not even talking about your grades, Shem. I'm not talking about your grades. I'm just talking about how you treat elders. Treat them with the respect they deserve because they deserve far more than you all are dishing out. They deserve that, y'all. In closing, told you I wasn't going to take much time. Please recognize this conversation as one to convince you that the time is at hand for you to do your best. The time is at hand to offer no excuses. The time is at hand to demonstrate that you have the content knowledge to be successful in the classroom. The time is at hand to buckle down, to persevere, to show up as your best self. The time is at hand, 2025, to simply be great in every single thing that you do. We can go home for Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Christmas break. The time is to end strong so that this GPA can be representative of catapulting you to the next step. You don't have time to waste. I told the seniors, it's time for them to finish their breakfast. It's time for you all to think about finishing your breakfast. How are you going to end strong? Because the time before you know it is going to pass you by. And then you're going to be asking Miss Knox or somebody, how can I work on my GPA to get into my college of choice? The time is now. How can I work on my GPA so that I can set myself up to be where I want to go and not have doors closing in my face? The time is now. We don't have a minute to waste. That's why I'm not talking about tardiness as a sense of the bell ringing. I'm talking about being on time. I'm not talking about being late. I'm talking about showing up ready, on time, all the time. I love y'all. Y'all go be great.